Let me tell you that.
I have been cracking up. I've just been absolutely enjoying myself thoroughly on Twitter by looking at all of the trending or searching the topic birds of prey or whatever, because they are so they're so mad and they're so desperate to try and spin this some other way. I've seen all these ridiculous, like, shut up, guys. It didn't take that much money to make the film, so it's already made its money back. Therefore, it's not a flop, so take that. Like, okay, well, let's go ahead and go with that reason first. Let's just assume everything you just said is true.
Yeah.
So the only way that a feminist movie can't be a flop is to take $10 to make. Thank you very much for going ahead and
right. Let's make it as cheaply as we possibly can,
so it won't
and call it a success. Exactly.
Exactly.
That's some numbers work for you.
Crazy Kitty said they tried to blame the coronavirus in China. That's a new one. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, I did hear that one. Yeah,
they're just desperate.
Well, China couldn't show up to watch the movie because of the coronavirus.
It was an R-rated movie. It was not going to be showing there anyway.
Yeah. I was trying. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I tried to save some of the Twitter reactions that were the most hilarious over the weekend, but so I saved, like, I opened a tab and a window just opened. I should have saved the actual individual tweets, but the Twitter page updated or whatever, so I lost them. But there was this one girl who got in her car. She's a YouTuber, and she had the camera rolling, like, so it was staged. So she had to have gotten back from the theater, turned the camera on, and then gotten back out of the car and shut the door so she could get in and make it seem like she was just getting into her car after seeing the movie. Mm-hmm. And she's, like, so mad. She's blustering. She can't even say a word. She's like, and just, like, throwing her hands up. And then the caption to her, and this is her page, the caption to it read, when the patriarchy has decided that this movie's going to be a flop and they won't see it or whatever. And I'm just like, what is your reasoning here?
Yeah,
you big stupid men, you need to like what we tell you need to like, and you need to support with your money what we want to tell you to support with your money. How dare you? I mean, it's not like anybody's picketing the theater and forming a human chain to keep people from seeing this piece of shit. We just decided that no desire to see that crap whatsoever. How dare you?
But I'll go to bat on that point. Screen Rant had an article. Birds of Prey opening weekend audience was shockingly 54% male. So more men went to see it than women. What are they complaining about?
Yeah, and people have made this point. Look, it's not sexist to say, it's just a demographic fact. Yes, there are plenty of women who enjoy comic books. There are plenty of women who enjoy science fiction and all these kinds of fandoms, but demographically, it is a majority of the fans of these franchises are male. That's just a fact. Deal with it. So from a marketing perspective and from a supply and demand perspective, you don't try and sell lipstick to a group of, men. It just doesn't work,
I mean, even this SJW, dumpster fire of a film was still 54% male. You still had more men seeing it. Where are all your where's the women's army,
Yeah.
And exactly. Well, now I'm not going to go there. I was like, what kind of guys were actually showing up to see this? Like, I mean, it is to the point where a film that they put so much of the wokeness behind, and then it dies a horrific death, i.e., Terminator, Dark Fate, and Ghostbusters 2016, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, that's it.
But they're always trying to find and blame somebody for its failure, and it's always the guys. Well, first of all, you had the people involved with this movie saying this movie is not. We want you to avert your male gaze. Well, okay, so we're not going to go watch it. You're telling your freaking audience not to see a film. But I mean, ultimately, the trailers were terrible. The design looked horrible. The costuming is a joke. The acting is horrific. The action sequences are abysmally choreographed.
You talked about choreography and stunts and everything like that, and I've seen some of the some people trying to say this the fight choreography is amazing, guys, and all this kind of stuff. They're so desperate. I'm showing on screen here. This is one of the little clips, for Rotten Tomatoes, that so first of all, we open with a little joke. So Harley makes a little penis joke for Black Mass because we've got to do that because take that patriarchy, Look at this scene right here with quote unquote Huntress. Yeah. This is their fight connect. So it'll replay and it'll play again here in a second. But so quote unquote Huntress here comes with a gun. She pulls one guy and it's like, you stand over there. And then she points a gun and shoots somebody. And then she's like, I'm going to do an awkward backward thing that maybe, I'll shoot somebody over there, but just keep the camera rolling. It's okay. It'll work. What is this? This is just like a 2-second clip and I can already raising the eyebrows.
Yeah. I mean, you can't even tell who the characters are. I mean, if they weren't calling each other by certain names, you would have no idea that it's Huntress or Black Canary. And,
yeah.
Cassandra Cain. I would go through that whole every clip I've seen. I did not know that was Cassandra Cain.
No, you have to
someone
be told.
Actually pointed it out to me, and I'm like, seriously, that's Cassandra Cain?
Exactly.
Yeah. And Margot Robbie is such a gorgeous woman. How can they make that woman look so freaking unappealing?
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. I have not seen a beautiful woman made to look that horrible since Charlize Theron in that monster film she did when she played the killer.
Right. I'll tell you something, though. We have learned a very interesting little detail about the DC. Well, this is still the Snyderverse, right?
Yeah, it still is.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
sort of.
we've learned something very interesting about the DC Snyderverse. Apparently, in the US of Snyder, you can, as a convicted felon, still vote. Because one of the reasons that Black Mask hates Harley Quinn is because she voted for Bernie Sanders. How does she have the right to vote? No one else that I know that's a convicted felon can vote.
That's an actual plot point?
Yep.
Wow. Are you kidding me? Oh, see, when are you ever going to learn, people? And, Al, you're talking about the I love this meme, too. I think this is so great. Like everybody else's. But you're talking about these characters are so, how hard is it to do these characters right? Well, it's very hard, for Hollywood to do any of these characters right. We know that. But this is Harley Quinn. She's almost up to Batman or to Star Wars levels of infinite marketability. You can't go wrong. Everybody loves Harley Quinn. Even that atrocious Suicide Squad film, people were still like, yeah, but Harley, even with Margot Robbie's, which I think is a crap portrayal of her. I don't like her portrayal of her at all. But still, they took that character who was a shoo-in. Every little girl loves Harley Quinn. I don't know why, but my nieces, they don't know anything about the characters, but the DC superheroes.
Me the heck out the way she's portrayed now.
Yeah. And let's, so there's problems with that already. This battered woman, and then you got the sexualized, thing, which you don't want necessarily little girls into and stuff like that. Although I think the character needs to be sexualized to a certain point, in terms of, the right audiences. But let's take that character with that kind of appeal, with that kind of, hands down shoe-in ticket money, and just make it a rated R too. That was another problem with it. And there was these sites going out saying 8 reasons why Birds of Prey isn't making as much as it should or whatever. And they're saying everything except it's a story. No, it's the rating. It's the name. Maybe the name's too long, guys. Maybe
okay. Overlord DVD, I thought summed it up so well, because as he was talking about Birds of Prey, he said, we're winning the culture war. Look at Birds of Prey.
Yep.
Terminator 6, Ghostbusters 2016, Charlie's Angels, and he even threw in Star Trek, Star Wars, and Doctor Who.
And that's why they're so angry. Yeah. That's why they're so mad about this one, because they know it. They see it. Their delusion has been, the SJW Twitter bot, the social agenda brigade has been this is how they see the world. They think the right thoughts. They have the right values, so they are the good guys. They are the angels, and everybody who disagrees with them are evil. They're either ignorant and just need to be convinced to come around, or they're evil and need to be wiped off the face of the earth. This is the complete ridiculous toddler-esque black and white worldview that these people have with these agendas. So it's unfathomable to them. They could not even conceive of a world in which they would finally get to do the kind of movie they wanted, and it wouldn't be successful. it must be some shenanigans by the men of the world or whatever that's made the movie fail or whatever. I mean, they just can't believe it. There's no way in their mind they can conceive of it.
And when you shared that article with me, Professor, the first thing I thought, the R rating, really? You're going there? Because I'm sorry, but
Deadpool,
old man Logan. I mean, come on, really? I mean, I'm sorry, your argument just simply does not hold water.
If a movie is good and marketed well, people will show up. Mm-hmm. You did not market it well, and you did not make a good movie. That's what people.
They had already decided that this movie had to be golden, had to be amazing from the get-go. It's the agenda. It's the agenda. The agenda. They wanted this win. They wanted to be able to say, "Take that, everybody who dares disagree with me." And you grow up, grow the freak up. That's not the way the world works. Be an adult for a change.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Al.
And like I said, 4 days in, they're like, you know what? It was named wrong, so it's now called Harley Quinn.
Well, it was a stupid name. I mean,
it was ridiculous.
Name. It was an absolutely just numbskull of a name. But
they're hedging their bets. Now they're also saying, because they don't want to make anybody mad who, like, the 3 people who are supporting them out there, they don't want to make them mad. So like, no, guys, it's just for the ticket sales. It's a long name for the tickets. So we're just saying that on the tickets, it'll just be this short name. You change it everywhere if you could, but you can't.
First of all, Birds of Prey is actually shorter than Harley Quinn.
Exactly.
To put on a ticket.
Well, and here's the other thing. They're saying, well, it's the R rating. Well, it's the coronavirus, right? I mean, that's wait a minute. I'm sorry. The two are kind of mutually exclusive here, because if you're gonna, if you're gonna argue
it's
coronavirus, well,
it's Trump.
If you're going to argue coronavirus, then you were going to market it in China. You weren't going to market it in China with an R rating.
Yeah.
So the two are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
NASCAR starting up again. So people are going to be watching that. The XFL had their first weekends. Of course, people are going to be watching that.
The global warming. I mean, there's that.
It was raining in a few places. Yeah. People, it just didn't get a fair shake.
I mean.
And this is what as we talked about a little bit last time, this is what this kind of meddling and this kind of appropriating a wonderful character out there who's popular in the cultural mythos, for a reason, just trying to appropriate anything you can get your little grubby hands on to make it try to work for your agenda. When are we ever going to get a real deal, true take of a live action Harley Quinn again? Probably not for a long time.
No,
not for a long time. I mean, Margot Robbie might still come over and try and be a part of the Suicide Squad 2 or whatever, but that's a ridiculous. James Gunn is crapping himself right now too, because he's doing the Suicide Squad.
I forgot they were working on a Suicide Squad 2.
I don't know why they gave that train wreck a sequel, but
yeah, well,
so I don't know if she's even part of it or what, but
ouch.
Yeah.
And when that one too, I mean,
don't know, don't care. The whole thing just makes me sad.
What were you saying, Troy?
Oh, I just can't even imagine when that one tanks now too. I mean, what the hell are they going to do?
Yeah, exactly. It's she's gonna, and this is how they're gonna do it too. They're gonna say, oh, people they're not that interested in a Harley Quinn movie. Just like they're doing with Superman, right? Oh, well, it's so hard to get him right.
That's
don't want a Superman movie.
Kind of true. I mean, I really do kind of wonder who was asking for a Harley Quinn movie. I mean, let's face it, Birds of Prey. I mean, excuse me. What's it? The Suicide Squad did not do that well.
Yeah.
I mean, so why would you spin anything off of that?
No, I don't mean spin off of that. I just mean the character in general, being so popular in the comics and stuff like that. They're going to act like, oh, it's just something wrong with the character then. Something wrong with the way created from Suicide Squad up.
Suicide Squad did make money.
It was a summer blockbuster.
Shockingly.
It barely made money, but yeah, it made money.
And it made just enough, and Margot Robbie got just enough good press that they thought, no, hey, look what we have here. But the whole issue was, if they wanted to make a Harley Quinn movie, make a Harley Quinn movie. But you brought the Birds of Prey in, you put the Birds of Prey first in the title and muddled the whole thing, and didn't give us the actual Birds of Prey. You threw in a couple of obscure characters, horribly designed, horribly portrayed, terribly cast. I have no doubt the girl that played Huntress in the movie could make a decent Huntress with another movie, better writing, and better costume. But
unfortunately, that boat's already sailed because they've already tanked the character. That character was introduced into this dumpster fire of a universe.
No, and that's what I'm saying. If this film didn't exist, if it magically disappeared and went poof, and suddenly everybody goes, what's a Harley? Besides a motorcycle.
It used to be a good motorcycle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that would have been a good cast, and that was literally the only halfway decent casting they had for the Birds of Prey. Everyone else it just didn't fit.
No, but Al's here. Al bringing up a good point about the characters in this thing. This is unpopular. They don't want to understand this. They don't agree with it. But you have to make superheroes. Right? It's part of the medium. It's part of their base archetype as these. There are modern day gods, and in terms of tracing them back to the Greek gods, and stuff like that. We don't literally think of them as real or literally worship these characters, but they're fulfilling in our culture and society many of the same things that the Greek gods and those stories did for the Greeks in those days, and they are idealized versions. Whether idealized for good, in terms of heroic, or idealized for villainy or whatever, these are ideal. Nobody wants to see frumpy pants up on the screen. And the intersectional feminists just can't conceive of that either. They can't get that through their head. No one wants to see Cassandra Cain as a chubby little Asian girl. That's bullshit. Mm-hmm. No one wants to see the girl who was Batgirl for a time, who's kicks ass as Orphan. And no, what is this ridiculous crap you've got on screen? Nothing against the actress, but she's horribly miscast. We don't want to see.
It's even worse than that. It's not even frumpy, overweight, Asian girl. It's frumpy, overweight Asian girl, and her whole purpose is to poop. Her whole purpose in the movie is waiting for her to poop.
Yeah.
What? Seriously?
It's something about burritos. It's
a diamond.
Wow.
She steals a diamond and swallows it. Now everyone is trying to find her and wait for her to poop.
Wow.
Yep.
See, and this is part of it. When Margot Robbie said, I don't want that male gaze being a part of this movie or whatever. Screw you. No, look, there's a difference. There's a difference between sexualizing a character beyond any beyond the point where that character should be, sexualized. Like I always say this for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman should be sexually attractive. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You should look at her and see sexiness, but you never should be posing her in sex kitten kind of, pin-up poses and everything like that, like some artists do. Yeah, that's inappropriate for that character. But they don't have any kind of concept of any sort of range within that. No, anything that's remotely appealing to a man is bad. So let's put Harley Quinn, this incredibly sexy character, portrayed by Margot Robbie, who's an incredibly sexy woman. Let's put her in overalls for the entire film. Let's take, as you said, Winstead, the girl playing Huntress, who's a gorgeous woman. Let's buff her up like a lesbian roller derby boxer or something. Let's make her eye makeup so heavy it looks like a monobrow. Let's crop her hair up so short. Let's do all of this let's not make sure they have any sexuality to their movements, to the way they're portrayed. None of that whatsoever can't be there. And again, it's not somebody asking for him to please make it a porn parody for me. No. These are idealized characters. We should see the idealized feminine form appropriate to each of the characters and their archetypes.
There's also something to be said for the subtlety of communication. I mean,
exactly,
if you want to get across a message of, let's focus more on the character and the story than on the sexuality, then amen. I could totally get behind that. But when you say it that way, we don't want the male gaze. Well, when you paint with that broad a stroke, okay, then guess what you get? No male gaze. And you end up with this kind of a box.
No male tickets.
No male dollars.
Congratulations. You got exactly what you asked for.
It's so beautiful.
Simple. And I did remember what I was going to say. It follows directly, logically from what you were saying. But simple. We're talking about telling a story and character development. Mm-hmm. And this was the same problem that we had with Suicide Squad. if you were to think through your franchise and your development and your storytelling, there is no reason that a bunch of B character villains should ever have been in at the beginning of your universe building. Okay. Mm-hmm. You needed them to be told as villains in other stories first, then be arrested, put in prison for us to even care about these characters. I don't want to see, a bunch of stuff I have to read, a bunch of cards to find out who these characters are, before the movie even starts. Okay. In my prologue, tell me about these characters in story in other movies. Then later on down the line, bring them all together and make me care about their redemptive arc.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was part of Warner Brothers' desperation to play catch up to Marvel from the beginning. Yep. Let's throw all the Justice League in there. Let's do another team movie. Let's do all that. We got to catch up.
Yeah, they were panic.
They just did the same thing with this.
Just did terrible choices in trying to set up a universe, and instead of trying to logically set up a universe, they just started. Okay, Batman versus Superman. Everybody will love that.
Yeah,
and that was all it.
Everybody's talking about. You gave us a whole bunch of characters that nobody knows outside of diehard comic book fans. Mm-hmm. So nobody cares about them. So of course nobody's going to go see them. But had you done a movie about Huntress, if you had done a movie about, well, what should have been Batgirl, if you had done a movie about, well, the CW people know who Black Canary is, but they're looking at this going, that's not Black Canary.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the heck is this? Yeah. So even your audience that you should have been building on doesn't care about this. So congratulations.
Age of Boomer there for $5. Yeah. Thank you for the $5. None of the birds of prey in that movie look like superheroes. Why did they decide on those costumes? What costumes? I would even say that. No single character there is wearing a costume.
Exactly what I just typed.
Yeah.
There's no costume.
It's kind of like Jinx, you owe me a tab.
Yeah, I was talking before about how they completely obliterated the Harley Quinn costume. She never has a costume now. She had a wonderfully iconic Harley Quinn
now
costume.
Wearing string and crepe paper.
Yeah, now she's in some sort of level of either lingerie or the oversuit or something like that. There's no costumes whatsoever. Huntress, I think one image surfaced with her in a mask, but she doesn't even wear that half the time. They're falling so far from the very idea of a comic book superhero or villain or whatever that it's just going to demolish and it's going to dilute these characters and their natures in the popular consciousness, and it's going to take a while to recover.
Well, and there was nothing heroic that I've seen about these characters. Huntress, Black Canary, they are not portrayed as in any way, shape, or form as heroic. They are at best anti-heroes.
But they took out a man in his toxic masculinity.
Oh, okay. And let's talk about that as long as you bring that up. So we can rip apart the Joker movie and say how horrible it is and how this is, toxic masculinity and
white male rage.
And violence. And yet when women do it, somehow it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense.
And then you've got some people who are driving me crazy too. These guys, it's actually not even all that woke. No, seriously, like I saw it and it's not, there really isn't like a lot of woke stuff in it, guys. It's actually not that bad. First of all, just stop talking. Please don't ever say another word. If I don't believe that. I know for a fact I've heard people call out certain things like, oh, there's a woman with a sandwich or there's this and that. And she's talking about it, making penis jokes or whatever. It's in there. You're just not bright enough to catch it. And that's most of the moviegoers in the world. They don't want to go for any depth. They just want to gobble some popcorn and see some explosion. But even if let's say even if this movie wasn't like the actual film, if you watch the actual story and there was nothing woke about it whatsoever, that's completely irrelevant because they chose to market this movie as though it's super woke. The actors themselves, Ewan McGregor couldn't shut his big fat dumbass mouth about it. Everybody's coming out. Margot Robbie. That's how the supporters are trying to drum it up. Now they're saying, guys, no one ever said it wasn't for men. Are you kidding me? Look, stop insulting our intelligence. Yeah, it's the dubious distinctions they try to make, and some of the tweets were like my tweet about it this weekend. My one tweet about it was, "Birds of Prey movie defenders, do not give up." It's really amusing for the rest of us because I was watching, and they're like, "Guys, we can't let this movie flop narrative take hold. Go see Birds of Prey. It's vital that we go do." It's like, how about it's vital that we support good movies and not support bad movies so we get better art. But then our agendas won't get out there. Well, there's your problem right there.
Yeah.